Okay, so in the last section we had a look at how we create a brush from painting directly into Photoshop, so using blacks and greys to create a brush. So we're going to do this now with a photographic image. So this is kind of what we ended up with in the last lesson, this kind of nice scattering abstract brush, okay, that we can move around and work with. But if we go to File and Open, we're now going to look at how we change an image into a brush. Okay, so I'm going to grab this image of a plane, okay, open this up, and again I'll share all these images with you so you can use them and work with them. Okay, so here what I want to do is I want to make this into a brush, but I want to lose the grey that would be around the edge of this image. So a couple of things I'm going to do here. This is quite a high resolution image to turn into a brush, and you'll find out that if you use a brush that's this big, then it will often become a bit distorted or slow down your painting with the brush. So I'm going to go to Image Size, and I'm just going to drop the size of this down. Okay, so I'm going to resample the image, and I'm going to drop the size down in pixels to 1000 pixels. Okay, and we'll just go to View and 100%. And so now I'm going to move away from the brush tool here so we don't accidentally paint on this, and I'm going to add a levels adjustment layer to turn this grey cloud area to white. So I'm going to come down to my levels adjustment layer down here, and then I'm just going to crunch the colors here. So I'm going to pull all my whites into all these grey areas. At the top of the image are going to become white, and then I'm going to pull in the blacks as well and just modify this until I lose all that kind of cloud area and it's just a kind of pure white. Okay, so I want to lose all that detail around the edge, and we'll double check that in a second, but that's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's minimize the levels adjustment layer here. Okay, so now we're going to flatten this image. So I'm going to go to my layers panel, just come to the right here and flatten my image. Then I'm just going to use the magic wand here. So I'm going to click and hold and grab the magic wand, just select all the outside area of this image, and basically we're going to change this all into pure white. So I'm just going to do Shift F5, okay, to bring up the fill option, and we're going to fill this with white, and that just makes sure that when we make the brush we don't have any kind of border around that brush that's going to make it look a little bit funny. Okay, I'm going to go to Select and Deselect now. Okay, and now I can go to Edit, Define Brush Preset. Okay, so now I'm going to call this Plane Brush. Okay, so now I have a brush of my plane. So if I jump to my brush tool, then you can see I can paint in lots of planes, and it's black and white now. I've lost the little bit of color that I had in that, and we can now go back to our other document, our Grunge text document. I'm going to make a brand new layer here, hide that background layer, and then we'll work on this brush a little bit. So we don't want it to be totally flat. So we're going to bring up the brush properties again. Okay, come to Shape Dynamics, increase the size jitter, increase the angle jitter, and turn on the scattering so we get this nice scattering of that as well. Okay, so we can adjust all these up and down until we're happy with what we've got. Okay, I'm just going to do Select All, so Command and A, and Delete, and now we should have something that provides a nice texture. Now, I'm not too worried whether this looks like a plane or not. I'm more interested in the texture that it produces. So we can see we're getting some nice kind of texture with that you wouldn't get from a normal brush. And this is the way that I like to kind of make my brushes. So you'll see if we kind of flip to a different color, we get some nice options here. It's still on darken, so if we jump back to normal, we'll see we get this kind of variation of that. Okay, so let's turn on the color dynamics as well here, and if we turn on the hue jitter, then we're going to get some variation between the foreground and the background color. And you can play around with this until you're happy with what you have, but you can see now that it's either jittering between lots of different colors or just jittering between the foreground and background color, and you can adjust and control that. Okay, so we've got some nice texture there. Let's delete this layer that we're working on. We've got a couple of nice brushes that we can work with here. So I'm going to save this brush preset. Okay, and I'm going to jump back to this other brush that I was using. Okay, and I need to turn the scattering and shape dynamics back on for this. Okay, so now that we've got these brushes, let's have a look at how we can drop this into some text. So we've got these two brushes that we're working with, and we'll see how we can have a play around with these with some text too.